find myself often asking, how do I tell if I'm an adult? I've met older people that are immature and act like they're still in high school. So what does it take to be an adult? The best I could come up with is not dying before you turn 18. So I have a hard time identifying as an adult, especially since I still feel like a kid. That being said, I want to talk with other, quote, adults and learn from them. After all, the quickest and typically the most painless way to learn is through others. Somehow, we're adults. Okay. So you wanted to pop this? Oh, let me not take that away from you. It's your Friday.
Yep,
it's your Friday. I'm just
You're
spectating.
Just living in it.
I feel like this has been a long time coming. You got
1, 2, 3. Well, I like tequila. That's just me.
Dude, who doesn't? Tequila's good. And you're like a certified bartender now, right?
I am now a certified bartender. Yes.
You didn't check my ID.
Nah, you guys are old enough.
Hold on.
Well, you guys have to start off baby weights.
Okay. All right.
You guys got to build up to my level.
Okay. You're right. You're right. I can't bench press 225 right now. So this is bench pressing 225. That's 225 for one. You know what I'm saying? That's killing. He's killing it.
Hey.
Throw another plate on there.
That's you. That ain't me.
So you do orange juice and pineapple, or what are you doing?
So with this, whenever I drink tequila, it's nice to have it with pineapple. A lot of people have it with limes, but
yeah,
I prefer with pineapple. It's more citrusy flavor.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get this podcast going.
We're already recording one. I'm waiting for what needs to go in this.
I just shake it up. That's it.
Or we're just drinking it.
It's chill tequila, man. Chill tequila is the best tequila.
Listen. This is I have a friend that goes like this, and I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, I'm holding the cat, or I'm holding the tail. You're just fucking the cat. I'm just holding the tail.
Have you ever had warm tequila though? No, it's disgusting, man. Chill tequila is always the best. But all right, cheers, bro.
Cheers. It's good stuff.
Yep.
Terramana tequila, the Rocks brand, delicious. Have you had the Reposado one? Does Reposado mean something in Spanish?
It's the aged tequila. That's what I call it.
Okay, I didn't know if it meant something like if there was I know Blanco means white,
It's
so
like bottom barrel or aged in a barrel. That's what gives it its color. Let's see.
Keep an eye on the mic. So this is an every Friday thing. You do this every Friday?
It's an every Friday thing, man.
I know. I get pumped. I watch your Instagram stories.
It's like a reset, man. You work hard all week. I celebrate with tequila and a box of pizza. I try to finish it. I can't finish it. So,
especially with that attitude.
I can't, man. I can't.
Well, dig in, man. Let's get some pizza too.
Dig in.
Oh, Colton, you got a plate?
I need one.
Do you put hot sauce on your pizza, Juan?
I do not.
Why not? Come on, man.
That's not me, man.
I love it.
Yeah,
I should have got some napkins. Oh well.
All right. Since the last time I came on to this, a lot has happened.
Yeah. So, where do you want to start?
I guess I'll just start.
So the last time you came, I listened to a little bit of it today. You were roofing. You were not in school.
Mm-hmm.
You were just working out and roofing. You just got back. I mean, because that was in May.
Yeah, May.
Yeah, May. Right? Where's your name? There's
May 16th.
Yep.
It was published.
So yeah, you got back in when?
I got back in September of 2020.
Sorry about the ice. It's really
It's
loud.
all good, man. I got back in September 2020. From there, I used the VA loan, bought a house. No down payment needed. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
After that, I just started working on roofs. It was good money.
How long were you roofing for?
Until May.
Until May? Well,
Until May.
fair enough.
Yeah. So what happened was, when you work with family, it's not always perfect. So I look at it, at the time I was upset, but now when I look back at it, it's like I'm kind of glad it happened because I wouldn't be able to accomplish so much that I've accomplished now.
Because you were roofing with your dad.
I was roofing with my dad and I was roofing with my brother. But what happened was I told them like, hey, I would like to go back to school. But they took it as me trying not to work anymore. I don't think they understood that I get paid to go to school, because the GI Bill is pretty nice, man. So I was telling him about that, and then from there we just had problems. I was like, look, they're not willing. So it comes down to self-interest, whatever they want. So I was like, all right, I'm out, and I just left. So that weekend, I was like, you know what? Is this the right decision? Is it the bad decision? You know, whenever you argue with your parents, you probably think of that all the time. And for me, it was like Saturday, I'm just going to do what I usually do. I go to the gym, laying around the house, bored out of my mind, looking at the ceiling, watching TV, just trying to make the day go by. I wasn't in school or anything after that. Sunday, I was like, all right, this is the day I got to start planning. So on Sunday, I looked up with the va.gov. I was like, all right, they're open on Mondays at a certain time. I'm going to just call them the moment I wake up. Because again, at this time, I wasn't working with them anymore. I wasn't going to plan on going back. But I always have a plan B. So I called my uncle. I told my uncle, like, hey, I'm not working with them anymore. Can I work with you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, great. I already got my plan B, just in case. So I started working with my uncle for like 2 weeks straight. But back on that weekend, on that Sunday, that Monday I woke up, called the VA. They were like, oh, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I want to go back to school. They were like, okay. They gave me some paperwork to do. I filled them out right away. I submitted it to them. Tuesday came. They were like, oh, what type of school do you want to go to? They're like, oh, whatever's around. From there, they sent me 10 different schools that they told me to meet on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I'm just driving around Tampa, Central Florida area, looking at these schools. Got accepted to every single one of them. And I think now colleges are starting to do a CLEP test instead of a SAT and ACT thing. So where you just go in there, take the test, they'll show you a result, and you just get into the program. They don't worry about ACT or SAT anymore. Yeah, for real. It's great. It is nice.
That sucks.
It makes me mad though because that wasn't when I went to school that way.
Exactly.
I took the SAT twice and the ACT once.
Yeah.
Just because my reading comprehension score wasn't high enough.
Yeah. And reading wasn't always my strongest subject too. And
Bro,
then when I took the
my
CLEP
math
test,
was like off the charts.
yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And I took all my charts. Everything was off the charts except math. And I was like, that was the subject I was good in.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, really? Math was the one you weren't off the charts with?
yeah, out of all the math was the one I wasn't. Because when I'm doing the test, like I haven't done math in so long since high school. You remember reciprocals and stuff like that?
The term.
What'd you say?
You remember reciprocals?
I remember the term.
You remember when you're dividing fractions, right?
Yeah.
And it's really you're multiplying, but you do the reciprocal. So you
we flip.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I know I flipped one of these. So what do you think I did? I flipped both. I didn't know what to do. That was so funny.
What I would try to do just to make in that situation when I think about like flipping fractions, and this is like me nerding out, but I try and like put each one into a decimal and see if what I ended up with decimal wise makes like the same sense.
Yeah.
But that's just, I mean, I'm sure I would not be as good as at math now if I tried it. It would take a little while for me to get the bearings greased.
And that's where I was at. So Monday, call the VA. Tuesday, I'm interviewing for schools. And then Wednesday, or that Tuesday night, I was like, I'm just going to go to the school, whichever one texts me first. And the one that texted me first and called me later that night at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday was Kaiser University. I was like, all right, you have my attention. This guy went out of his way to come reach out to me. All right. And then Wednesday, I signed, and I was I was now enrolled in Kaiser University. It only took me 3 days.
Yeah, and that's through the VA. That's completely paid for too, right?
Yep, I get paid to go to school. And
That's huge, man. I feel like that's huge, especially at our age, because I mean, too many people sign up for a ton of student loans.
Yeah, and that's crazy because when I'm in class, everybody's talking about like how much loans are, how much books are, and stuff like that. And I just sit there, I'm just like, man, yeah, it is expensive. And I can't really say anything because everything's paid for me.
How long were you in the military?
I was in for 5 years.
Was that your contract?
That was my contract.
But can you get your college paid for regardless of how long you're in the military? As long as you fill out your what's the rules?
So, this is more for like technical terms for in order to get the full coverage of your VA or GI Bill or post 9/11 bill, you have to be in for at least 3 years. That's active duty. And then,
Which you were.
Yeah. And then like anytime less than that, you get like a certain percentage. Like I think 2 years or something is like 80%. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know 3 years in active duty gives you 100%. That I do know.
But think about, so 3 years, if you dedicate your life active duty to the military, you can have paid for college. I mean, if somebody doesn't do that and they just go straight into college, like, how long is it going to take them to pay back that same amount of money that you're now not having to spend?
It
Like-
might take them a while, to be honest.
Like, a bachelor's degree costs, like, on average, what, like $80,000?
Mm-hmm.
$60,000? After your books and everything, provided you live at home.
I wouldn't know that. I don't pay for any of my stuff.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, though. Like, how long does it take somebody to pay back $60,000?
So, like, I think the big thing that I was saying is tuition. That's the big one.
And books are expensive, too.
Yeah, they are.
You can spend $1,000 easily in a semester.
So, what else happened? Crap, I forgot my train of thought. Yep, I forgot it.
Do you want to talk about why you stopped roofing?
Well, I didn't really technically stop roofing. I would go on the days I didn't go to school. So there were days I would go to school Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So at Kaiser University, it's only one class a month, which I love that. Because I don't have to worry about any other class. It's just specifically one class. You give the assignments just for one class. And your whole month, you're solely focused on just one class. So right after class, I would go straight to work. Because my classes at the time would be over at like noon or something like that, which is usually lunchtime for most construction workers. So from there, I would commute from school, grab something to eat, and then go straight to work at roofs. But now I get out of school at like 1 p.m. So I don't go to school anymore. Or I don't go to work after school anymore. So I just come straight home. So for a while, like I would only go to work on Wednesdays and Fridays, and Saturdays I'd be on a roof. Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursday I'd be at school. But the days I went to school, I'd be really bored when I was home. And what do people do when they're bored? They get freaking creative. So
you look for hobbies.
yeah. So I'm trying different hobbies. I'm like trying different workout regime, workouts and stuff like that. But then it get to a point where I was like, the gym isn't all my life. I know I got to do other stuff other than this. So I've always loved tequila. I've always loved alcohol. I'm not an alcoholic, but I like drinking tequila on Fridays. So I signed up for a bartender course. Went to the bartender course. So for that 2 weeks, the bartender course was in Tampa, and that was like, it wasn't a hard 2 weeks, but I had to be really on my toes. So it was Monday through Friday for 2 weeks straight. So on the days I went to school, my day was like, wake up, go to school, get out of school, quickly eat something to go to another school, and then get out at 5.
You didn't have time to be bored.
Did not have time to be bored at all. But the moment I got back home,
yeah,
my bed, man, I went straight to my bed.
Yeah,
I did not
so
want
tired.
Yep. But then
that's good, man. I mean, I feel like there's too many people probably out in the world that are like bored in that same way, but don't do anything about it. They just drown themselves out with TV, or they go eat what they want, or they're eating pizza like all the time and drinking all the time. I mean, your Friday night is there every day.
Yeah.
And there's no exercising in between because, nobody wants to start something new and be a beginner at it. And like you've taken it completely a whole different way, and you're like, I'm going to be the beginner at everything.
Mm-hmm. And the thing I've noticed about myself is I really do like performing under pressure. So whenever I feel like the odds are against me, that's when I believe I shine the most. So when I left my brother and my dad, I'm pretty sure they were like, oh, where the heck is he going to go? He's going to come back. And then I was like, I don't think they know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't even know what I'm capable of. And, now I'm not restricted to anything at all. No family ties. No nothing. I was like, all right, I'm going to see what the magic of a telephone or a cell phone can do. And because of a cell phone, I'm able to reach all these people. And they're able to give me opportunities that I didn't even know about, or I did know about, but I never took the time to actually go do them. So now I'm back in school, full time. I get paid to go to school. I did a bartender course. I just got hired as a bartender at Red Lobster. So
Shout out their biscuits.
Yep. Shout out to their biscuits. Oh, they're so good.
And now you can go get biscuits and have Juan give you a drink.
Mm-hmm. I'm the bartender and the biscuit man.
Do you get paid in biscuits? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I wish I could. But yeah, I got that. But that's more of my job whenever I'm in school. So I made sure I told my employer at the time, or she's still my employer, about my schedule, because I still want to work on roofs Wednesdays and Fridays.
Are you still doing that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like part-time?
Yep. Everything's part-time, man. And back to the school subject with math and stuff, they make you take like an exam at school, to a pretest, right? And I remember they put me in a basic math class, and I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't be here, but everybody got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So
You got to be a beginner.
got to be a beginner again.
I think that's a huge thing that too many people just won't do. They're just scared of.
Oh my gosh.
They're just scared of being new at something and learning something and being terrible at it. Like, too many people are scared to fail.
Yep.
And failing, like, I don't know, like, it's just what you learn from. Like, like you wouldn't, like, when you started soccer, you told me you just like got thrown into it. It wasn't like something that you really like knew you were going to be great at, but you became great at it.
Mm-hmm. So the thing with like failure for me, it's like when you fail at something, yeah, it sucks. Nobody likes to fail. Nobody likes to feel rejected or any way. But with failure, it's like it's okay to fail. What's not okay is like
never trying,
not giving up, or not trying at all. Because like a lot of times, I know there's a lot of people in the Hispanic community, the where I grew up, they know everything about the job, like concrete wise. I have cousins and family relatives that do concrete, that do carpentry, that do all that other stuff, but none of them are willing to get the license so they can do that work and actually start a legitimate business from it. My family's guilty of it as well. My parents. I'm not going to say too much about my brother, because my brother is actually trying to do it the same way I'm doing it. But like all my uncles who have their own roofing crews and they work for some other company, none of them actually take the time to get the license. So then that brought back to my attention when I went back to school. All right, I'm in school for business and administration management. What am I going to do with that? Well, one, I wanted to start a business. So the best way to find answers is, well, you got to ask questions. Where do you look? So I started bugging people like, hey, where do I get my contractor's license? I went to the boss of the company my uncle works for. None of them gave me an answer. So I was like, I'll find it myself. Typed in on Google, construction schools. Camtech School of Construction popped up. That's in Tampa. I was like, all right, I'm going to call these guys. I called them. Hey, how do I get a contractor's license? They're like, well, you got to attend one of our seminars. Great. When's your seminar? They tell me the seminars. I haven't gone to a seminar yet, but there's one on Wednesday that I'm trying to go to. I talk to them through the phone. I look at their website. And the only thing that's separating my parents from having a roofing, or my family from having a roofing business, is just $2,500.
And the willing to try.
Yeah.
And the willing to try. Like when you were talking about all that, all I could think about was it's a human thing to see somebody trying to do something new and to like make fun of them. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to learn something new. Look at you, like, oh, you're trying to play soccer. You're not going to be good. What are you going to do? Like, be a professional soccer player? It's like, I don't know, but I like doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm sure somebody's probably seen me and, seen that I'm doing a podcast and has probably said something about it. That's something I think, at least I think in my head, someone's probably out there, whether they've said it to me or not, which no one really has. But if someone's probably just like, oh, what does Ryan think he's going to be, like a big podcaster? And it's like, I don't know. This is just what I want to do. I want to learn at this. I want to be better at this. I want to, like, over time, have it develop into something that's just, like, potentially a mainstream podcast. That would be freaking cool. To be able to talk for a living and have conversations while I drink tequila and eat pizza with my friends, that would be cool.
I'll be there every day.
That's what I'm saying. And I'll have you on every Friday. It'll be a Friday.
Every Friday, I'll still commit. every Friday. So yeah, so I think in January I'm actually going to Cam Tech. The goal is to go to Cam Tech School of Construction,
So what school are you in now?
Kaiser University.
How much longer do you have left there? Are you just getting your AA degree? What's that look like?
I'm getting a bachelor's and I graduate, I think December of next year, which is pretty quick because I had college or military transcripts that transferred over. So I think I'm only going to school until December. But I'll still have. I know it's crazy, right?
That's like I don't even like military sounds like the option for people that want to. It sounds like a good option.
I'm not trying to be a recruiter or anything, but like, you know, like some people say, like, oh, you just go to military just for your college to get paid for. There's a lot of people in the military right now that are doing college while they're in.
Yeah.
So then by the time they get out, they still have like, you know, the GI Bill, but they have like a couple classes to get the associates or bachelors.
Now, do you think that if you hadn't gone into the military right after high school, that you would have done the same route that you're doing now, which is, you know, learning all these new things? Do you think that the military taught you some kind of like discipline in that you can be new at something and still get better at it?
Yes. If I did not join the military, I honestly I'd probably just be roofing or something. I wouldn't even have no type of creativity to go above and beyond. I'd probably just do the bare minimum. In the military, they teach you to be a subject matter expert. So whenever you go to, because everybody in the Marines, we get different jobs. Some people are MPs. Some people like myself are weathermen. You know, exactly. Crazy, right?
Yeah. You look a lot like no, that's Anchorman, not Weatherman. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, tequila. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my excuse for anything stupid I say.
Yeah. So like, you know, there's jobs and everything. So whenever they put you into these schools, there's always competitiveness there. It's like who has higher grades, who has higher fitness scores, whose uniform looks nicer, yada yada yada, like to the very smallest detail. And if I didn't have any of that, I'd probably just be, I don't even know.
Is there a way you think you can learn that outside of the military? Is it something that you feel like you were taught, or is it something that it just brought to that got brought to the forefront? Because like for me, I never went into the military, obviously, but like one of the things I learned just like through like trying to lose weight, or like basically setting goals where I'm just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do now, and like that you know, I never really lifted weights until I started going to the gym with a friend, right? And so, like, I never really tried anything new. So I guess the newest thing I would have tried was, like, growing up, I played baseball. But, like, I played t-ball as a kid, so it was just one of those things, like, it was just so much fun that I wanted to do it. And then, and then when I started playing baseball in, like, middle school, like, and then also did karate, I feel like that helped me learn that, like, you can be a beginner at something, and as long as you're willing to learn and like surround yourself in it, become like indulged in that thing you're learning. That's why one of the quotes that I have hung up is that you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Mm-hmm. And so that's a huge motivator to me, is like greatness isn't something that somebody just wakes up one day and has. You know, somebody doesn't just wake up one day and like they're not just like, it's everything. Everyone says like you've heard of the term like overnight success. But like people, like there's a mention on one of the previous podcasts is like people work for 10 to 15 to 20 years to become overnight successes. You know, it's not something like I think it was one of the lyrics of, you know who Big Sean is, the rapper? Yeah. Like one of the lyrics, one of his songs is like I've been working for 20 years to become an overnight success or something like that. I forget the time frame, but it was like a long time to become an overnight success. And like I feel like you can learn those things, but what do you think? Is that something you can learn, and like, or do you think that the military just initiates that process?
Well, I would say that the military does help with mental discipline, like a lot, because you're not going to you may have like a boss that like yells at you and goes down your throat, but what are the chances of you seeing that? I mean, it still happens, but you don't probably see it as much as you do when you go to basic training in the military, because the moment you get out of those buses or something, there's always a guy in a hat or in a drill hat who's already down your throat for the smallest thing. You got to pee, he's yelling at you because you didn't say like the proper way to go use the restroom. or you touched your face because your face was itchy, and now you're getting a grown man like yelling at you because you touched your face. So it's like simple stuff like that. So what that does is like I got so used to people yelling at me. At time it was a shock because nobody's ever that close to you yelling at your face because I don't know, you're
Somebody who doesn't, it's like not your dad.
yeah.
Somebody who doesn't know you, you don't know them. You never had tequila and pizza on a Friday with them.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You don't know these guys. This is the first time you're seeing them, and they just go down your throat, just yelling at you for
Belittling you.
Exactly.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Well, I guess you could do something about it, but
You could
there's
do
repercussions.
something, but it's not good, man.
Yeah.
There's more. It's weird though because it's like the drill instructors. They're like They're like gods. Like I don't see them eat. I didn't see them. They would be up before us. They would go to bed after us. So I'm like, how the heck are these guys? They're running faster than us.
You start making them into gods.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, this guy again.
You think he's just this, you think he's this like crazy thing where he can do all these things. You think you start making him into like this godly figure. Yeah.
And I realized their trick. Once I realized their trick, I'm like, okay, they're cheating.
What's the trick?
So a lot of times they'll be like, oh, you guys want to like mess around? All right, double time, and we all be running in a formation. And I'm like, man, how's this guy keeping up with us? And we're sprinting and everything. So what he does is he'll tell like the group, go run to the tree line while he stays in place and catches his breath. I didn't realize that he was catching his breath, and I'm like, this is what this guy's doing. Here I am sprinting. This guy's like taking breaks and stuff. But
I like listening to stories of Navy SEALs talk about their hell weeks.
oh, those are different breeds.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah,
Like mine was tough, but not like that.
not
man.
a hell week tough. Yeah. You passed the pineapple.
Yes.
Pineapple's great with the tequila, man. It's the move. But okay, so you're in school now. So okay, what was bartending school like? I've never even begun to entertain that idea.
So they basically teach you like the basics. So free pour, like a 4-second count, is one shot of tequila or one shot of any liquor. And they do it because like 1 second's like, what's it called? I think it was like a quarter ounce, and 4 seconds makes 1 ounce, and that's equivalent to like one shot or something. Nobody saw that.
Everyone saw that.
And then they teach you a bunch of recipes, and then they teach you all these like the lingo and stuff like that. But after that, the great thing is they give you like your certificate, right? Like, oh, you
Do you have to have a certificate to bartend?
No. A lot of chain restaurants and restaurants like to promote within. That's the reason why, is because one, they they're giving I guess it's in a way like a career opportunity. So like a waitress is like, oh, she wants to be a bartender, and you kind of like promote her to bartender.
Yeah, people spend a lot of money on alcohol, so
Yeah.
you can make really good tips doing it, and I think their hourly wages are better probably than servers.
Yeah. So that's what happened, and then what she does, or Wanda, who's my instructor at ABC Bartender, not only will she give you leads, which are like jobs you should apply for, but she'll also give you gigs. So the crazy thing is, she literally called me today and was like, hey, can you do this gig for me tomorrow? And again, I had orientation today at the Red Lobster, so I was like, oh, I'll get back to you at 3. And at 2, whatever, everything was done. And I told her, like, yeah, I can go tomorrow. So now I'm doing, like, gigs on weekends just for fun. I get paid, like, $25 an hour or something like that. Which I think is pretty nice.
To do something that, like, it sounds like a fun job.
It is.
Like, you're literally the source of people's, like, fun. Like, you're selling like social lubricant, you know what I mean? Like,
basically. But like when I drink at home, I drink to get drunk. So my drinks are a little bit stronger than that. And if I go to a restaurant, I can't be thinking like that, like, oh, this person wants one shot, I'm gonna give them a whole cup of tequila.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that, man. They're not gonna like it.
They're not gonna use it. First of all, I don't know who all is listening to this and if they follow Juan on social media, but the skull shot glass. You didn't bring it, did you?
No, I didn't. I was thinking about it. No.
I should have told you to bring it because I feel like I can do it. I feel like I can do it. Granted, I have been drinking a little bit. I feel like I can do it.
I feel like
But like that's a freaking. That's not even a shot. That's like up to like. That's like taking a shot to like.
it's
It's the equivalent of 3 shots, right?
it's equivalent to 3 shots or a cup. Like, cause when you're making rice, I don't know if you when you make rice for your meal preps and stuff.
Yeah.
I ran out. I couldn't find my my measuring cup for rice, so I used like a skull shot, and hey, it's a cup. Oh man.
So, geez, like it's water, bro.
It is water, man. You can see right through it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why we get the clear stuff. Yeah, it's like drinking water. Jeez, man.
Tastes like juice, man.
Dude, it's really good though. Like,
Yeah, terrible.
doesn't.
I like this brand
Oh,
because
that's your plate. Hold on, what am I grabbing your plate for?
it's not only the Rock's brand, but it's actually very affordable.
Gosh, do we even need to be supporting The Rock? You know what I mean? Like that man makes so much money.
I'm still gonna support him. One day he'll tag me on his videos.
I think what really needs to happen. One, I think he just needs to be president. Like, why not?
Hey, have you seen his new show on NBC? It's about
Uh-oh.
him running for president. So he talks about, yeah, it's called Little Rock or Young Rock or something like that.
I haven't seen that.
It's hilarious. It's talking about like his past when he was growing up, and like when wrestlers say like, oh, wrestling's fake.
Keep it on the mic.
When like they say wrestling is fake and
Yeah.
like wrestlers get offended. Yeah, he was like, oh, whatever, your dad. Wrestling's just fake anyways. And it shows the video of him punching a kid.
Is it similar to like I imagine because that was the one where like it's like somebody plays him as a child.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really much of him.
Yeah, it's
Right.
Somebody plays him as a child, but he
Like
talks
it's like
about
is it like Everybody Hates Chris?
Yeah, basically.
Dude, I
yeah.
loved Everybody Hates Chris. Did you watch that growing up?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Chris Rock, man. That show was the best. Terry Crews is his dad. He's just like, hey, man, that's 30 cents for the Kool-Aid.
He's such
Pour
an
that up.
amazing ass.
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor.
Terry Crews?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. And White Chicks. I mean, one of the best movies ever. Dude, I watched White Chicks the other day, and I realized, like, all the jokes that were made, like, that's not a movie you could make today. Like, everyone would be scared to make movies like that right now.
Yeah, have you seen the Dave Chappelle special? The
Yeah,
Closure?
dude. Okay. Okay, you tell me your opinion first, and then I'll go.
So my opinion is very, because I only told this to a handful of people. So,
Now the limit's endless.
so, when people, like, I've always wondered who cancels my favorite shows in the first place. Like, I get it, if you don't like somebody, just turn the channel off or change it.
It's okay to not like things.
Yeah, and what I've started to see is people don't quite grasp, like when a comedian says a punchline, people who just see the highlights of like the stand-up or something like that, they just target that specific line, but they don't understand like the story coming up to it. And Dave Chappelle he's an expert at doing that. He will
Expert storyteller, for
Yeah.
sure. Expert.
Oh my god! And I know, and I can kind of sense he has like a political, what's it called? He brings up certain current events into his stand-up. So he'll be talking about.
Which that's what I would say a good stand-up comedy does.
He does.
And talk about things that are pertinent.
And a lot of times, like, people will target him, but they won't watch his whole special. They just watch the jokes, and they're like, "Oh, that offended me." Well, it's
Or they just comment based upon what one person is saying.
yeah, exactly. So there was like, what's it called? It blew up all over the media and stuff, and I would see people like, "Oh, I can't believe he's saying that about us." I'm like, "Did you guys not watch his special? He literally said this was like, he's literally defending you guys in his special, and you guys are targeting him."
Yeah, but he's calling out like one specific nuance in that
Mhm.
special.
And at the same time, it's like, when I finished watching that, I was like, man, he's right. And then I started to wonder, who cancels all my favorite shows, man? Like,
Well, it's just talking about there's a small group of people. There's a small like vocal group of people that just happens to be like they gang up on everybody, but like I feel like the majority of the country doesn't give a shit about what Dave Chappelle said.
mm-hmm.
It's like a certain key individuals, and like the message of what he was saying was just like, hey, be kind to other people. And apparently some people just couldn't, like, he was for people who haven't watched the special, he was talking about his friend who was a transgender, And but in doing so, he's a comic and he makes fun of things that he thinks need to be made fun of. And when I watched the special, my first opinion was it was mildly funny. It wasn't that funny. I've seen better work from Dave Chappelle. His previous specials on Netflix before that I thought were much funnier. But like I wasn't mad about what he was saying. Because I get the message of what he was saying was just like be kind to people. You never know what somebody's going through. And he's a fantastic storyteller though. Like when I watched that special I thought it was great. But I mean, I think there's just a small group of people that are just loud enough, and I don't think that's everywhere. I think the majority of the population like doesn't really comment on things. Like the people that comment on like social media posts, like A, they either like are close to you, or like B, they just like the picture and move on. Mm-hmm. They don't devote that much time to their social media and making sure that like someone else feels their pain or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that one hit.
Come on now. So like Dave Chappelle, I thought I see nothing wrong with it. It's not like he was. I mean, it was hilarious because like in the beginning of that special, he's literally talking about punching a chick, and no one's even talking about that part of the special. You know what I mean? He's literally talking about fighting. Did you watch it, Colton? Oh, he like talking about like fighting a chick, and like no one's like it was hilarious. It's a stand-up special. How much of it is really true? You know what I mean? Like you don't really know. I'm assuming when he says something and he's serious that it's true, but like when he's like and I tenderize them titties, punched her in the chest, like it was just hilarious. Like I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I could see why some people would go after him, but it's like it's like I was talking to somebody once, and it's an older person, and they're like I hate the F word. I don't like when people use the F word around me, like not in my house. And I'm literally like, you realize you're just giving that word more power. When you take something away, you like give it more power. So that when it is used, it's so sharp. It's such a like fuck. Like but like you know what I mean? Like it's very like gasp. But like it's the same thing with you're trying to make these subjects that are not supposed to be discussed so that when they are discussed, it's so much worse. And like I don't know about you, but I would think that most people don't give two shits who people like. Like if I have friends that like other dudes, do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit. I like what I like, you like what you like, and that's okay. We could still be friends. We don't have to like the same things. I think one of the I can't remember for sure because I haven't finished them yet, but one of the quotes that's going to be these boards is one of the boards that's hanging up is going to be strength lies within the difference between people. Because I think what you like and what I like, even if they're not the same thing, like we can still be friends. I don't play soccer. You're one of my good friends. You know what I mean? Like I'll school you on some basketball if you want, but if you don't want to play basketball, we don't have to play basketball. We can still be friends. You know what I mean? Like that's okay. That back, huh? I think that I don't know. I just think that's what makes life beautiful. Is if everyone was the same, if everyone drove the same car, it wouldn't be cool. If everyone liked the same things, it would we'd find something else to be mad about. And I think that like going back to Dave Chappelle's like special, like they're trying to make it to where you can't talk about transgenders at all. And it's like you can criticize something, like a portion of something. Like I think that Hungry Howie's pizza is great. You know what I mean? But like I could make little tiny thing. I could like talk shit about it. You know what I mean?
It is good.
You know what I mean? Like the Rock's tequila is $32 when I bought it the other day. I wish it was $30 flat. You know what I mean? Like,
where you buy this tequila at?
Undisclosed location. But I don't know, man. I think that there's just a group of people that are, that they want it to be a subject that can't be talked about.
Basically, yeah.
Like people don't want to talk about like family things and stuff like that. Like I've talked about family members on my podcast before, and if they had listened to the podcast and heard some of the things I've said, like they might be upset that I feel that way. But my thought always going back to it is like, listen, I can't control how I feel about how or how you made me feel. I can control whether I talk about it or not, but I'm an open fucking book. That is something I've always said, is like, you want to talk about something, I'll tell you about something. Like, I'm not scared to talk about things. And like, there's no reason, like, if one of my family members listened to it that, you know, maybe I said something that might have offended them, we can talk about it, but like, I'm not ashamed of who I am, and I'm willing to talk with anybody about anything. So, you know, I see no reason to shelter what I say and to censor what I say. So, you know, what do you think about that?
To me, it's like somebody has an idea, I get respected and stuff like that. But what I feel, because I'm starting to see more of this happen. Again, this is nothing against the LGBT and Qs.
Yeah, like, but do you give a shit about them? I say give a shit about them. Like, do what you want.
Yeah, do what you want. But what I'm starting to see now is people pushing their views onto the younger generation, and they're not letting the younger generation decide for themselves. And that's the thing that it's like, all right, I was cool with you doing whatever you wanted to do, but now that you're trying to influence the younger generation, it's like there has to be a line.
Yeah.
Like the show on Netflix called Cuties about younger boys trying to be drag queens and stuff like that. I'm like,
I've never watched it.
How is that not crossing the line?
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that.
Well, like, I think so much of government has got religion involved in it, and in regards to like the LGBTQ community, is that like so many people make their determination of why they feel the way they do about that community based upon religion. And it's like, okay, if there's supposed to be a separation between church and state, like, why can't you just go, I don't give a like the gay marriage thing, that was a thing like years ago, you know what I mean? Like relatively soon, or relatively like not that long ago, a couple years ago, 3 years.
2015, it was Oberfest versus something.
Yeah, but like, what do I care if a man decides he wants to marry another man to be happy? I don't give a shit. If he wants to get in front of the government and marry them, like, do what you want. That doesn't. I'm not gonna. It's like drugs. How do you feel about drugs, Juan?
Well, what type of drugs?
All drugs.
Just kidding. I honestly don't care about drugs. Just if it's affecting efficiency at work, that's when it should matter. So
right.
Don't go into work.
But should they all be illegal?
Illegal? No. I think no.
See, when I think about drugs, I think all drugs should be legal. Like, if meth is legal, does that mean I'm going to start doing meth? No.
Isn't meth legal? No.
Like, dude, if you want to think about it, Adderall is basically just microdosing meth. You know what I mean? Like you can buy alcohol. If before we open this bottle of tequila, if you chug that whole bottle of tequila, you die. Oof. Or you'd be close to death. You know, you'd be knocking on its door. You'd be
maybe in one sitting I could finish it. But, no,
but you know, but I'm talking like put a straw in it and shotgun that alcohol. Your liver is gonna get clapped out. It'd be better if I put you under like 500 pounds and try to make you bench press it. Probably. Same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like just because it's legal doesn't mean that you're gonna like go crazy on it. In fact, if it's legal, then businesses can start to make purer versions of it. Businesses can then start to like you don't have to worry about fentanyl being in your cocaine if you want to do cocaine. Like, I'm not going to start doing drugs just because they're all legal. But like, you know, I drink, but like I've never tried anything else. And maybe I would try something else, but like maybe I can get it in responsible amounts. And I think most of the laws are like that. I'm like, if it doesn't fucking affect me, like make laws to where you can't drive while you're high on meth. That would probably be a good idea. Or when you're like tripping balls on shrooms, probably not a good idea to drive.
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
Probably not.
It's just like this dragon was coming. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, but like I just don't see why so many people care to decide what other people like the versatility in life is what makes life beautiful. The fact that you can go into the military and be a weatherman and then go to school for free, like that's not what I did. But do I think everyone should do that? Everything's situational.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors in order to like. You have to understand people's family problems, their upbringings.
That's why I don't think vaccinations should be a thing too.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Yeah,
I don't either.
Okay, you got out just in time.
Yeah, I did.
Have you?
I was not gonna be no test dummy. Okay.
Yeah. Have you had COVID?
What?
Have you had COVID?
I had COVID in January,
Just once?
just once.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It was weird. I woke up.
Pull the mic closer. Just keep the mic. Keep the mic. You
yeah,
can, you
it was
can move
weird.
it. It's like,
It was weird.
Sorry.
I woke up one day and I was like, no big deal or anything like that. I went downstairs. I think when I went to brush my teeth, you can usually taste the mint from the toothpaste. And I was like,
You like feel it?
this feels very bland. So I started putting more toothpaste on to go like, I'm not getting that flavor, man. And then all of a sudden, I was like, all right, whatever. I go
Started to get
down.
alarmed. Your heart starts beating.
I wasn't even alarmed yet. And then freaking, I'm eating breakfast. And I'm like, why can't I taste anything? And then I'm like, oh, I can smell, whatever. I'm like, I'm good. So the whole day is going by. And then all of a sudden, it's like, it hits me. I'm like, why am I sweating? I'm like, it's cold, man. It's cold and I'm sweating. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I think I have it. And then sure enough, I did have it. Because then the next day, I couldn't taste anything. I couldn't smell anything. It was the worst. Tequila didn't taste the same to me. There was no point in drinking it. So I just stayed on the couch.
Did you get like any exhaustion? So it really just lost your taste and smell? That was the only reason you knew you had it?
It was weird. I was like trying to be motivated at the same time. So it's like, I remember I tried to put on my gym clothes to go to the gym, but then I was like, this is a bad idea. I'm not going to do that.
If you get somebody else sick, that's the real worry at that point.
So that's when I was like, I'm going to just isolate myself inside this house. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I didn't get up anywhere. So for like the next 2 weeks, I think the most I would leave was, where did I go? I made sure like I washed my hands and everything like that. I wore a mask everywhere I went, and I wore a hoodie.
Yeah.
I went to the Moe's like almost every day. And then at the time, I was just like, I can't even go to Moe's anymore, man. I'm too tired. I have no motivation to do anything. So there were days I just slept.
How long did you have it for? Was it something like went away pretty quickly? It was like a week?
It went away pretty quick. It went away next week.
But you never felt like super duper under the weather. It was more just like you were trying to like keep it away from other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing that sucked was, again, when I went back into roofing right after I was healed, supposedly, I put my mask back on, and I'm on a roof, and I'm sweating. And, I was already sweating when I had COVID, and I'm like, I feel like this is like double sweat. So by the end of the week, I'm like, man, I'm feeling extremely skinny. I'm feeling extremely hungry. Sure enough, I lost so much weight, man. It was like the best diet workout I've ever had, man.
Yeah.
You want to get skinny? Just get COVID.
Buy a
That's it.
tapeworm, get COVID. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. See, knock on wood, I have not had COVID. And,
Must be nice.
well, like, what do you think?
What?
Nope.
Any idea? Colton doesn't go anywhere. We can talk about that in a minute.
That's it.
Colton goes to the gym, and like if it sells food, he's probably getting an Uber Eats to him.
I didn't get COVID though.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you think you got it from?
Me? I probably got it from the people at work. Because I remember they would have, like at work, they would have the mask on, and they would be like, hey, are you sick? They're like, I'm just coughing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm in a
Dude,
truck
how
with-
many people in the past year and a half have got COVID and didn't fucking change a thing? Even if they knew it. They're just like, they can't afford.
Days in the past year where I'm like dead for the day, and the next day I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, like how many people, they literally like, how many people do you think in the world are paycheck to pay, or in the United States are paycheck to paycheck?
I'd say 60, 75%.
Most people. So if you're like, and if they don't have, how many people have benefits to where if they're sick, they still get paid?
I'd say
Maybe
30, 40% people.
Of that 75?
Yeah.
That's still a lot of fucking people when you have 330 million people.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of people. So if they can't afford to miss a paycheck and they get COVID, they're like, oh, well, just don't come to work. And it's like, motherfucker, I got to pay bills.
And that was the crazy part, because whenever COVID hit, a lot of people jumped into that unemployment thing because they were getting paid not to basically go to work and had better benefits and all that other stuff. So they were like, yeah, I get it. Hey, if I was in that position, I would be in unemployment too if I had a
Small businesses
crappy
closed.
job.
Small businesses closed. The people that worked at the small businesses had to go to big businesses because it was the only place still hiring, like Amazon. And then you go to Amazon, and they're trying to work you to death because Amazon's busier than ever because of COVID.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, they're working me to death, but I can go make the same amount of money working from home. Or not even working from home, just doing nothing.
Basically, yep.
I'm like, why would you not do that?
And that's what a lot of people did. And what happened was, I think it was like maybe a month or two ago, I started seeing like crazy amount of advertisement for hiring. It was like $5,000 sign-in bonus or all the ridiculous amount. And I was
Dude,
like,
I've seen $25,000 signing
What?
bonuses. They're
That's
like
crazy.
truckers. It was on the news the other day.
well, I don't know much about the truckers and stuff, but like it's crazy now that I've done this whole business thing and I have my whole layout that I'm trying to start like next year. Honestly, the only thing to actually do in life is just to get a license. You want to make 100K driving trucks, get a CDL license. They cost like what, like $1-2 grand, something like that.
I have no idea.
No, something like that. But you pass the test, you're a CDL license, you start working for a company, save up money, buy your own truck.
Yeah.
You make bank. That's it.
Well, from what I've gathered since I graduated college and I had the business admin degree, is that basically to run a business, all you have to do is basically what you did when you went to school. You just have to have a desire to do something and then find out how to do it.
Yep, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I know in the construction industry, there's a lot more. I'm not saying there's a lot more paperwork, but there kind of is. It's like if I want to be a contractor for roofing, I have to get the license. That way, whenever I do jobs and stuff, I have to be able to pull the permits, because anything that's involving with changing structure of the home or something like that has to be done by a contractor, and you have to have a permit by like the city or something like that in order to get the work done. If you were to do flooring, you don't really need to do that, because you just rip off the carpet or something, put flooring on. No, there's really no change in structure of the home. But basically, that's what it comes down to me. So whenever I'm trying to pass down this information to the younger generation, my younger cousin, I'm gonna tell them the same thing. Like, hey, it's okay to go to college, but trade school is also pretty good.
Dude,
And
that's so crazy because, like, so many people our age that, like, okay, like my grandparents, they're like, go to college. Like, you got to go to college to be successful. Like, what if they offer you a job that requires college and you can't take it because you have to have college? And I'm like, college is not that big of a deal anymore.
it's
like-
really not.
Like, to me, it doesn't seem like it is because, like, everyone, because it's such a normal thing to go to college, that the next thing that they're looking for isn't just that you went to college. They're looking for, like, what's your work ethic like? Are you driven? Are you internally motivated?
Experience.
Yeah, experience. Like, they'll rather have somebody who's done the job before do the job with no college than somebody who went to college for that subject. It seemingly like college, what it was like 40 years ago, actually meant something. But it feels like the college now is just like, were you convinced to go spend a bunch of money on student? Basically, or do you have student loans? And like, it's basically, did you get like non-bankruptable debt? And like I would say, and this is one of the things I've thought about before, and it really freaks me out, is the normal thing to do, quote unquote, would be you graduate high school, you go directly into college. Your parents didn't save for you because your parents were just trying to make ends meet as they could, because everyone lives paycheck to paycheck. So your parents grew up and they said you need to go to college. You go to college. While you're at college,
No pepperoni. I'm just kidding.
it's jalapeno. Come on, man. I like the jalapeno. So you go to college. You take out student loans to do so, because you don't realize what student loans go. It's just like when you have a bad diet. That's all really debt is. It's, I'll pay it back later. And so people go to school for some degree that they're interested in, quote, whether it's a good idea or not, whether there's jobs hiring for it or not. They go for a degree that, like people make jokes of underwater basket weaving. It's like there's no jobs for underwater basket weaving. There's no jobs for underwater BB stacking. There's no jobs for left-handed puppetry. You know what I mean? Like, but people go to school for these degrees and they spend a ton of money, and they get deeply into debt with these things that offer. Like, what's the point of going to school for a degree in philosophy? the only job that you can really have with a degree in philosophy is teaching philosophy. You know what I mean? Like, all you're doing is making more teachers of philosophy to keep doing that. And like, so college originally was supposed to help you in the career field, but then so now you're $80,000 in debt. You can't find a job that pays $80,000 a year, let alone $50,000 a year. So you start at some minimum wage job and you try and work your way up, and then you're so deeply in debt. And at that point in your life, you're what, 22, 24? Let's call it between the ages of 22 and 24, because it takes 4 years to get a bachelor's degree.
Yep.
Graduate when you're 18-ish, right? So you're between the ages of 22 and 24. What are a lot of people doing at our age now? Getting married and having babies.
I know, like you. You're about to get married, bro.
No babies. No babies. But you know, that's what everyone's doing, and you want to live on your own. You don't want to live with your parents anymore. So now all of a sudden you've accumulated bills on top of having student loans. So now, but like, your friend has a brand new car, and you know, your neighbor's got a brand new car, and you've got an old car that you got from high school. Now you have to go get a new car, and you have all these bills, and like, you set yourself up in a way where it's like, okay, I make, at that time you're at that entry level job right out of college, like maybe you're making $40,000 a year, but your bills a year is $35,000. You make just enough money to be able to eat on top of all the things you have. And like, everybody sells payments now, and that's just such a shitty way to start your life. Because now, if you want to buy a house, you have to get whatever keeps the monthly payment low. 30-year mortgage, no money down, like whatever keeps it low. Because I don't have any money saved to put down on it because I'm too busy paying back my student loans and all these other bills. And then next thing you know, you're stuck in this trap of like, I owe money and I have to pay people back because I have to have good credit. Mm-hmm. And what do you have to have good credit for? Just to take more loans out, so that way you can pay those loans out. That's what credit's for. Yep. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to him, but I listen to Dave Ramsey, and like, he makes good sense. The only reason you have credit is so that way you can have more debt and pay it back.
Basically, that's all credit is your ability to borrow people's money and pay it back.
That is essentially what credit is. And credit, like, the one thing you really actually like, so what, everyone thinks you need credit to buy a house. Okay, but what if you buy a house and you have it paid for? You know, like, shout out Apex the barber. Man's almost got his house paid off.
Yeah. And
to be our age, that's insane. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, my parents don't have paid for houses, and they're in their like late 50s, early 60s. And the man's 25, 24. Like, that's insane.
He's 25.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, he's less than half the age that my parents are, and will have a paid off house. That is like amazing. And like, so many people, they just don't, they get stuck in that cycle of they want more than they can afford. And that's what society has perpetuated, is this: you want more than you can afford, and you max out as much as you start making a certain amount of money, and then you just ride that rev limiter right underneath that amount of money, and you spend all that money to live your life. And it's like, that's why I'm so hard to get to spend money on things. Like, I don't mind, but like, I'm not, my biggest thing is I don't want to retire in life. What's the point of retirement? No one has been able to make a good case for retirement. The only people all the people that make a good case for retirement is because they can stop doing a job they don't like and they can do whatever they want. I'm like, okay, so wouldn't you just want financial freedom? Isn't that essentially what retirement is? Is being able to not rely on a paycheck from a company. Okay, well, what gets me to that soonest? Do I have to wait until I'm 59 and a half when the government is saying, like, okay, you can take out your retirement without taking another 10% penalty for early withdrawal? It's like, no, I just want to be financially independent in life. I don't care about being rich. I don't care about having, like, a retirement when I'm 59 and a half or 62 or collecting Social Security. I want to be financially independent in life as soon as possible, because when you're financially independent, to me, that means you can, like, live the American dream. You can do whatever you want. Like, the owner of KFC, the creator of KFC? What's the Colonel? The Colonel? Yeah, when the Colonel, he was like in his 60s when he created KFC. He was super old, and I'm like, man, what was he doing before that? Like, I want to be financially independent as soon as possible in life, because to me, that's the way you become. Like, to me, that's the American dream. When my friends talk to me about how they paid something off, or how they've got money in the bank and they don't owe anybody anything. You know, they might have a house payment, but like, Besides that, they don't have a new car payment. They don't have credit card payments. They don't have student loans. And everything's like paid for. Dude, that's the freaking American dream because you can afford to take on more risk. And if you can afford to take on more risk, more reward, right? That's a thing that everyone's heard before. More risk, more reward. But if you can't take on risk because your personal finances are so trashed from what the normal life is.
So I think I took a class, it was like microeconomics or something. My teacher was amazing. She would always tell me time is money. So that's what kind of got me into the bartender course in the beginning, was because whenever she said that, she was like, all right, you can go to school for 4 years. I don't know if she was trying to promote us to be good students or she was trying to tell us, like, hey, get out of this class while you can. Because she was like, think about it this way. You go to school. I'm like, okay, that's a job, right? She's like, I'm like, yeah, you go to school. You're obligated to go to school. She's like, okay. So basically you're working a job, but you're not getting paid to go to any. You're not getting paid anything because you're paying to go to school. Because you're risking losing money because in the long end you feel like you're expecting to get a bigger pay, salary or something whenever you graduate. I'm like, yeah. She was like, but let's say you don't go to school. And for the next couple of years, you're just working and you get promoted all the way up. And then in 4 years, you're making like $25, $30 an hour. Is that worth it? And I was like, well, if you put it that way, I think it is. Because whenever somebody that gets out of college or something, they get out and they're probably working a job that's like $20 or $15 an hour. If any, there's probably some that got a degree that they don't know how to really utilize or anything, so they just pick up a regular $7, $10 an hour job. You never know what happens. So whenever she told me that time is money, I was like, I'm gonna use the most of my time. So I would calculate everything in my head. I like numbers a lot. How many hours do you think people need to sleep? I say 6.
6, 7.
I say 6.
Let's call it 9.
9?
9.
You sleep for 9? That's way too much.
Some days.
Some days. Okay.
Your boy needs to sleep. You think it can be this beautiful?
So I would say 6, right? And then there's 7 days in a week? You multiply that out, that's 42 hours. All right. So 42 hours out of my whole week, I'm dedicating that to sleep. So what do I do for the rest? I'm like, okay, some people work 9 to 5 hour jobs or something like that. So I would start calculating everything in my head. I'm like, all right, I'm in school for 4 hours a day. Out of those 4 hours, I'll go there 3 times a day. Well, okay, I'm in school for 12 hours a week. It takes me an hour to commute there and an hour to commute back. That's 2, 4, 6. That's another 6. So 18 hours out of my week, I'm going to school. So then 18.
Direct the mic towards you more. You can move it on. It moves
I know. My bad. I forget.
Listen, I listen.
I'm buzzed. Okay.
No excuses. You slept 7 hours last night.
Look at this. Oh my god.
Speaking of which, can you pass the orange juice?
Oh my god. I was waiting for you guys. I'm like, I'm not gonna be that guy.
I'll take some orange juice.
Yeah.
Poor Colt.
Oh, it's no pulp too.
Chugging tequila.
Hey, man, I'm chugging.
Listen.
I'll be a trooper.
Listen, I am an indulgent. Okay, continue on.
Oh my god. So then I would start calculating it. So I'm gonna just pull out my phone right now, right? So it's like, all right, we have 24 hours in a day. Multiply that puppy by 7. I'm in school for 18 hours a day. I sleep for 42 hours a week.
Juan, do you want any more tequila before Colton probably murders the tequila?
Hey, you can murder it if you want.
You want a little more?
I got this.
Oh yeah, don't forget Juan poured a water bottle full of tequila a minute ago.
There
basically,
you go, Colin. Chug that puppy.
I've seen Juan drink less protein. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey,
Listen,
I
okay.
gotta get my 200 grams in.
Not to interrupt, but we have to talk about pre-workout at some point.
Oh, we can start talking about it.
I'm concerned about your health. Continue.
Oh, I stopped taking pre-workout.
I don't believe it. Go finish what you're talking about. Finish what you're talking about. Math. Do the math.
All right. Eventually, it comes down to 108 hours out of my whole week that I can do whatever I want. So I can either go roofing or I can get another job. I'm not going to brag. I'm pretty good at school. It's pretty simple. To me, I think it's like if a teacher tells you to do something, you just do it. There's people in my class that complain about it. It's really not. You're told to do something. Just do it. Yeah,
Nike up in this bitch.
There are some times like, yeah, it's frustrating to do certain problems and stuff. But what do you do whenever you don't know the answer to something? Just email the teacher and say, hey, I'm stuck. And eventually they'll put you on the right path. And if I get it wrong,
Ooh, that's bomb. Sorry.
yeah. And eventually if I get it wrong, I'll tell the teacher, hey, I did what you told me. And then whose fault is it at that point? Is it still the student's fault or is it the teacher's fault? The origin, yep.
Yeah.
So what I did, I used that time.
Is this called a screwdriver, right?
No, screwdriver's vodka,
Vodka.
and orange juice.
So is this a screwdriver?
This is tequila. The French? Tequila ain't French?
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Want a buzz?
Yeah.
I like how I set out the coasters. I had good intentions, but man, we ain't fucking use them.
Use one the whole time.
You're like, oh, that's what it was for.
Whoops.
Yeah, so then eventually I was like, all right, I did everything in my head, and I was like, all right, I'm able to get a different job and work on roofs and then still have extra time to do whatever I want. So I'm at that point right now where I'm fine with working 2 jobs, going to school, so it feels like I'm working 3 jobs. I'm also a landlord, so if somebody pays me to rent, I still have an extra room. So I can still rent that puppy
You
out.
have multiple streams of income or streams of potential income.
Mm-hmm. I want to get into stocks and stuff. However,
I'd love to teach you everything I know.
that'd be perfect. I want to take a macroeconomics class. The only reason why, because I feel like I would get the whole picture. I understand everything about supply and demand and all that stuff. That, you know, more buyers and sellers, more sellers and buyers. When to take that certain type of action, I understand that part. But I feel like there's like a missing point that I got to learn from macroeconomics. And once I learned that, that's when I'll start investing and stuff. But one company I do like investing in is Tesla. And that's one I think that's the only one I invested.
Yeah? Why Tesla?
It's Elon, man.
Elon.
Did you see what he said about the UN?
No, what do you say?
So the UN was
Oh, is it the thing about the if you tell me right now how they do it, I'll sell $6 million or $6 billion worth of stuff?
He said I'll sell everything. But he wants to see like
He said, "Tell
the
me
numbers.
exactly how you're gonna do it, and then I'll give you the money."
He said, "Show me exactly how you're gonna do it and put it on public display so everybody could see it."
Yeah.
They've been quiet
he
since.
called their bluff so bad. He said, "Fuck yo couch," to quote Dave Chappelle.
Even if he did sell it all, like he would still have. He would
He's
still
crazy.
be. I still feel like he would be in the Forbes like top 100 still.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like do you know who Jordan Belfort is?
Not Jordan Buffett.
Jordan, do you know who? You don't know who that is?
Mm-mm.
That's the. You ever watched the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah. Now
That's Jordan Belfort.
okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're
the
talking
main guy that Leonardo DiCaprio plays. The actual Jordan Belfort. One of the things he said is, "I feel like being broke is a choice." To a certain point, when he talks about like being broke for your entire life is a choice, because there is so many in the United States. There's so many opportunities, and you just have to want it enough to try hard enough. But regardless of that, so I feel like if you made Elon Musk worth $0 tomorrow, I feel like he would be rich again within a couple of years.
He'd be rich the next day. What are you talking about?
No, but like take his fame, make Elon, change his name, change his face. No one's ever seen him before. Like take everything away from him, but he's exactly who he is now as far as like knowing what he knows. He'll find another way. I mean, his first thing that he did to make money was PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
He was a part of the team that created PayPal, and then Tesla, and then what is the other company now?
The Boeing company.
Yeah, like
Boring company, something like that.
It doesn't matter. He would find something else. It's a process that he learned. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that he would be who he is regardless of what circumstances. He just happens to be doing what he is. So like that's part of the whole thought process with the podcast was like I'm just trying to do what I'm interested in. And like you were talking about learning something new. Like when I started the podcast, I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be in a spare bedroom and I was going to have a table and we are going to be drinking tequila and eating pizza on it. I had no idea. But like I still don't believe like that people listen to it. That like people like this is your second time on. Like I can't believe you came on the first time. I still can't believe that people listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, that's so amazing. Like, there's people that I don't even have to post that a podcast is up and people will go and listen to it. Like, it's crazy to think. Like, I don't know how long they're listening to it. I don't know how much they agree or just they might be screaming in the car like, shut the fuck up, right? I have no idea. But it's just so amazing. Like, I'm out trying and I'm trying to be better. And what you were talking about earlier, it's like, I don't care if I suck at this. I care if I like, I'm the one who, like, I'm constantly self-critical about what I do and I'm constantly trying to get better.
And that's the thing, like, what I've noticed whenever anybody tries to do something. Like, you see somebody, for instance, try to, like, start their own business.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's tried to start their own business, trying to do a hobby, trying to, like, you know, learn something. A lot of times people are always going to be judgmental. I don't know what makes them judgmental in the first place.
Because they're scared. Because they see something in you. Like, if you're trying something new and they're not willing to try something new, their reason for not wanting to try something new, they're going to forecast that onto you. Oh, well, you're going in the military? Oh, you're not going to last. You're going to drop out during boot camp because, you know, because I wouldn't be able to do it, therefore you can't do it. Because people are weak-minded. How many people do you think in the United States could run a mile? You're trying to mandate vaccines. I'm trying to mandate people run a mile. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone needs it. Like, I was extremely unhealthy. I couldn't run a mile. I would say 90 to 95% of the population probably can't run a mile without stopping.
Yeah.
And stay alive.
So what I've noticed is the big thing is a lot of people will only show up when things work out. Let's say this podcast thing, right, just blows up and it's like #1 on the charts.
They'll say I was an overnight success.
Yep, overnight success. You have people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all these successful businessmen, celebrities coming onto your podcast shows. People are going to be probably like, oh, yeah, Ryan, I knew him, blah, blah. I'm like, where was that support when I started?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't get. A lot of times, yeah, and there are some people that get big-headed and they forget about that stuff. So they'll be like, oh, these guys, they love me and all. I'm like, yeah.
Or they'll be like, I could have done it. Well, you fucking didn't.
Exactly.
You fucking didn't.
So I'm just like, man, like, always remember who was with you when you started. And, you know, for me, whenever I do become somebody big, shoot, you're coming with me. Everybody's coming with me.
I that's one thing I want so bad for everybody is I want everyone to be happy.
And that's the main thing. And just like, and if it has to be carne asadas every Sunday, so be it, man. You know, steak's expensive, and a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
I walk by Publix every day, and I look at the steak section, and I'm like, $5 a pound.
Yeah. Like even people, if there's somebody I don't like just because I don't like them doesn't mean I don't want them to do well. I don't know why you wouldn't want somebody to do well. Like, I think everyone should be trying to obtain a better day. Like, by day, they should be trying to be better people. And if it's somebody I don't like, maybe the point in time where I met them was just not a good point in time. You know, maybe they're a different person now. But, like, I think everyone should. I mean, why would you want other people to suffer? Or not suffer, but just not be, like, the full selves. Like, shout out, like, Adrian's got his own barbershop now. Like, dude, he was cutting my hair at his mom's house. Yeah,
I remember that. And I look back at it all this day. So, nothing wrong with it. Like, bro, I love Adrian and shit. He's one of my closest friends. He was one of the first friends I had when I went to Cork Elementary.
Me too.
Yeah, and then I'm like...
Cork Elementary.
Yep. And then, like, I'll see, like, what's it called? And I know he always has everybody, like, all his close friends' best interests and stuff like that. But I'll see everybody like, Adrian this and that. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, man. I remember when he started. But then I'm starting to think, like...
Bro, there's people that only know him by Apex the Barber.
Exactly. And I think that's crazy. Like, oh, you know Apex? And
yeah.
I remember one time somebody told me, like, oh, you know Apex? I'm like, who?
Yeah.
They're all like, Apex. I'm like... I was literally like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're all like, you know who I'm talking about, Juan? Yeah. I'm like... No, I don't, man. Like, get out. Like, what do you, like, what's his name? What's his first name? And he's like, oh, and they didn't know his first name or last name. And I'm like, okay, so what does he look like? This guy, and he shows me. I'm like, that's Adrian, man.
Oh, you're talking about Adrian. Okay. Lalo's big brother. Okay, I got
exactly.
you. Yeah.
I was like,
they don't even know who Lalo is.
Know any about, like,
shout out Lalo.
Like, They
So
just
the-
know him for his business, and yeah, that's a good marketing thing. He does business well. That's great. But it's like when people
But
tell
don't
me,
you
like,
hope that he's the best barber in the world one day?
hell yeah, man, I'm gonna be like,
That's
that
what I'm
guy
saying.
cuts my hair still, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like man, I remember when he cut my hair when I was at his mom's house in the
I
little
remember
shed.
one time he did this crazy design on my head. I was
Well, speaking
like,
of which, shout out to your haircut.
yeah,
Boy, we're looking right. I remember when
Yeah,
you
when I
like,
had
wasn't
it
that long
long.
ago. Last time we talked about changes from the last podcast. You had that back flowing haircut.
yeah, I got a lot.
You like the shorter haircut now?
Yeah, I got a lot of attention and a lot of necks breaking when I got this haircut.
That's what I'm saying, man.
People were like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "I was in your class for a whole month."
All of a sudden they start noticing you.
Yeah. Oh god dang, man, this is fancy stuff.
I know. So one of these days, the idea is that like you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And this is
Yeah.
the start. We're in the midst of starting it.
I think
Dude, you didn't know, and I don't know if you've ever listened to other episodes of the podcast, but like, I started recording the podcast on the microphones that are built into your like a Mac, like my Mac from college. I started recording on there because I was like, if I don't start with whatever I can now, I'll never start. If I think in my head I have to have all this equipment to start, I'll never start.
so. Do you ever think about like like they have some podcasts on radios, right? How does that happen? Just like you just talk to a radio station, or do you make your own station and frequency?
What do you mean? Like you talking about Sirius like XM?
Yeah, like let's say you wanted to go bigger and have your podcast on a morning show before you go to work every day.
Fuck that. I don't give a shit about that.
Hell no. It's just for fun.
How often do you watch regular TV? Or you have to watch it at 9:00 on a
Whenever
Sunday?
there's some big news, like when I was watching the voting thing, like this past week, I don't know if you watched it, and how like Virginia elected some badass like black woman holding a rifle. I'm like, oh my god, look at her.
Do like congresswoman or governor.
Yeah,
or
I
some bullshit.
was like, oh man, she means business.
Some black lady with an AR.
she was Jamaican,
Yeah.
and she was a Marine. And I was
shit.
like, oh my god.
Like, she's in charge of
Yeah, but like it is not like 10 years ago, like everyone had cable and like you remembered what TV or what Cartoon Network was, what Nickelodeon was, what Disney Channel was. Like when we were kids, like you knew exactly what channel. It was like 39 and 41 for me. Like 39 was Cartoon Network, 41 was Nickelodeon, 40 was some channel we never watched, and then 38 was Disney Channel. Like I remember that. And then to play video games, you turn it to channel 3.
Or four.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 if you're in Oklahoma. This motherfucking guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. This motherfucking guy in Oklahoma, they had 4 channels. And I'm just kidding.
Y'all had video games? I had that digital box that they made like no more. You remember that time when it was like everybody has to purchase this box because everything was going digital?
Yeah. They still have those, right? Is that what they still use?
I don't remember, but I
Bro,
remember.
but we never fucking watch cable anymore. Everything's Netflix, Hulu.
That's
you
literally
go on the
it.
internet.
So like a lot of times, like, do you ever get calls from Spectrum, or do y'all have Spectrum or anything like that?
I'm forced to have it through the apartment.
Yeah.
So Spectrum, for some reason, always calls me, and they're always like, "Hey, do you want to have our like cable?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Cause I got Hulu and Netflix." They're like, "Oh, it's just for you to have it." I'm like, "Well, I got this too."
The fuck am I gonna watch? Discovery Channel, History Channel, like.
I can watch all my shows on Hulu.
All right, now one. I'm about to break you right now. This podcasting is essentially what radio shows used to be. Radio shows, a radio show was essentially a podcast, but it came on every day at a specific time. This is essentially the same thing. Like on radio, you can't say the fuck word. You can't say a lot of words on the radio. Same thing with TV. You can't say certain words on Discovery Channel, but you can watch Dave Chappelle say any word under the sun on Netflix.
Yep.
You can like the internet. You can watch porn. You can't really watch porn on TV that I know of, at least. Maybe you can, but like, like essentially a podcast is radio. It's just conveniently allows you to listen when you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot of big radio shows back then were like Howard Stern, like Opie and Anthony. Like I listened to the Bobby Bones show. That was one of the things that gave me inspiration. But like only reason I listened to it was because it was on my way to work. But then once I got into podcasts, it was like I have no reason to listen to this anymore. I can listen to podcasts like when I want. I can stop it and start it. It picks up right where I left off. And then whenever I turn my car off, it stops right where I was at. And then it picks up right when I turn it back on. Like to me, this is radio, and this is just more convenient for the consumer.
Hey, look at you guys just drinking. Oh, come on, Colin. Oh, hey.
Juan, you've always been a small man in comparison. I went from fat to smaller. You went from smaller to juicy. Okay,
to juicy. To juicy.
So
I like that.
I am a professional at taking in calories. Like have you ever heard of hard gainers? Hard gainer is somebody who's like, it's really hard for them to gain weight.
I think
I am not a hard gainer. I can take 2 days off and gain 10 pounds.
Really?
Dude, it's fucking...
I gained 30 pounds in a month dirty bulking.
What were you
30
just
pounds
doing?
in a month.
Eating everything in sight?
Free pizza.
Dude, it's like to me, you either like constantly undereat or you constantly overeat. Like, there's not many people that...
Bro, and that's why I got into like this...
You're doing macros now.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Oh my gosh.
Next thing's macro economy stuff. Macro business.
Please not. No, I was doing the macro stuff, and I remember when I would, like, at first I didn't know anything about like measuring and stuff. All I knew was how much protein I had to take. So it was like what, a pound for...
1.2.
It's like 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing. And then there was the one where it was
Well,
like,
with that attitude, Colton, it is unobtainable.
Like 300 grams of protein.
yeah, it is hard, man.
Yeah, you got to be disciplined. You got to be straight
So-
eating chicken.
Without protein powder?
Oh man, you have to have
That's
protein
not
powder.
part of the rules. You can eat as much protein as you want.
So at first I used to take protein with like 1 scoop, right? Because I was like, oh, 1 scoop of protein. I'm like, that's perfect. And I remember one time I was doing that, and I think one of my buddies in the Marines was like, what are you doing, man? I was like, what? Because I went to Costco and I bought like the 5-pound bag, and I would take 1 scoop, put it in my shaker cup after a workout.
No, you got to do 3 scoops.
That's literally what he did. He's like, hey, can I take some of your protein, bro? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, oh, thanks, bro. I was like, yo, bro. Like,
Oh, this should be expensive.
like, you're supposed to take 1. And he looks at the bag. Where does that say? I'm like, you know what? You got a point. So
like,
ever
God
since then.
damn it. He's right, and I don't like it.
And I was like, man, here. He's like, how many protein shakes do you take a day? I'm like, I take 8. And he's like,
Damn.
8 protein shakes a day? And I was like, yeah, it's like 25. I'm like, no, bro. Like, just put like 2 scoops, and like after a workout, you're good. And I was like, I never knew you can do that.
Well, I just
I was like, here I am trying to like do math and stuff.
Dude, okay, you want to know a good way to get protein? Colton taught me this. Greek yogurt has a high protein
does.
content, and if you mix a scoop of protein powder in it, I've been doing that
Mix
for
it up.
breakfast. It was like 50 grams of protein. I put the powdered protein powder in it too. So I'll like...
It takes a while to scoop, but if you put it in like a little blender thing, like a
Bro, or get like a
helps out.
whisk and put it in a bowl, mix it
Yeah.
up. That's what I've been doing too. It's
Yeah.
like a 50 gram of protein breakfast, and then when I go to lunch, I'll get like 2 chicken breasts, and then like try and like do like I'm probably scraping 200 grams of protein a day besides this pizza.
Hey, you gotta have carbs, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I had no carbs all day,
Listen,
so
if
I
you're
can
not
eat all
enjoying
this all day.
if you're not enjoying life, like,
And that's the thing. Like, I see a lot of people that want to get into fitness, but they start off
I'm into fitness, pizza in my mouth.
not into fitness. Here we are eating pizza and tequila, but it's like, you know, when people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna start being fit," and I've seen people like, "Oh, they're not eating at all." I'm like, "Bro, you gotta eat." And they're like, "I'm trying to lose weight." I'm like, "Well, duh, that's why you gotta eat."
People think, yeah, you have to eat.
I'm like, no, what you're supposed to do is to have at least a caloric
Eat
deficit.
more low calorie things,
Yeah.
not less high calorie things.
And exactly. And I see things as in like when people are starting to do like get into fitness or starting to get a diet, I always tell them like, what was your diet before? Like, oh, I just ate whatever. I'm like, well, how do you know what your body's going to be like if you haven't done a whole week of straight like eating by the book and stuff? They're like, oh, I'm just going to just eat chicken, not eat anything all day. I'm like, that's terrible. And then you see...
Or people that like radically change their diet. The stuff that pisses me off is you have somebody who eats whatever they want. I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm keto. Strict keto. 20
Yeah,
grams of
see
carbs or
that?
less. And I'm like, are you going to do that for the rest of your life?
This is what I think about
Take it from
keto.
me. I've lost 75 pounds. Whatever you do to lose the weight, you have to continue to do. It's not like now I've lost the weight, let me go back to what I was doing before. You will gain the weight. I promise. Like, The way I ate before I lost a bunch of weight is not the way I eat now. Like, pizza is not a regular thing I eat. Tequila is not a regular thing I drink. Like, I eat relatively clean on a regular basis.
Oh.
I am very disciplined and regimented.
Baby laugh.
I am relatively disciplined and regimented on what I do. Come on, Juan.
I got it.
Chug that shit. There you go.
Freshman. That's what I'm talking about. This is a normal Friday night for Juan, okay?
Normal Friday night.
Dude, I get so pumped. Like, every time I see the tequila and pizza, like, I'll forget that it's coming. It'd be like a Friday night, I'm just rolling through Instagram real quick, and then the tequila and pizza picture from Mr. Juan Rosales Jr. pops up, okay?
Bro.
And I get freaking hyped. I'm like, man, I wish I was there.
There were some days it's super close. Like when I do roofing, right? And a lot of times my uncle will be like, "Oh, we have a small job on Friday." I'm like, "All right, bet." And I'll get to the job. I'm like, "You guys didn't even start the job." Like, "Oh, we'll finish it today." I'm like, fuck. So I'll text my roommate, like, "Hey, can you get a bottle of tequila? I don't think I'll be able to make it in time." He's like, "Yeah. I'll make sure I order a pizza on the way. By the time I get home, tequila's there." But there are some times, very rarely, I'll forget to get the bottle of tequila. It just doesn't taste the same, man. So,
What? All right, Ron. What's your favorite tequila?
favorite tequila, Don Julio. Best one I've tasted is Don Julio 1972. It's an expensive bottle. Well, that was the best tasting one because I couldn't taste anything. I thought I was drinking water.
All right, best taste for the price.
Best taste for the price, it's stuck between Terramana or Don Julio Blanco. That's like, if you want to like save money, Terramana Blanco is where it's at. Just make sure it's chilled or put in the freezer overnight. Drink it the next morning. Perfect.
That's what I did. Put the Terramana in the freezer. I got it yesterday.
Yep.
Put it in the freezer. Bro, I was so pumped for today. You have no idea. I'm like at work today, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm supposed to have tequila and pizza.
And that's
and
how I
just
feel.
Chill.
That's how I feel every Friday. I'll be at work doing my thing, and then I'm like, I know there's somebody waiting for me at home. And some people think it's my dog. Love my dog. But there's that bottle of tequila that's waiting for me to open. And then when I pour that into this gigantic shot glass that I have, I'll chug that. I'll eat pizza. I'll get a little buzz if I want to drink more. And I'll take another shot. And then that's usually it. If I do want to get a little like more wild, I'll drink another shot. But I never go past 3.
What I've learned is too, like tequila is metabolized by your liver very fast in comparison to other liquors.
Yep.
So you can get hammered really quick, but it'll go away really quick as well.
Yeah, that's why, like, for some reason, some people tell me, like, they drink tequila and they get hangovers the next day. I'm like, I never had a hangover when I drink tequila. Like, I'll wake up the next day perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll wake up more energized.
You need to get a whoop one. Come on.
Yeah,
You're
you've
trying?
been telling
Bitch, what do you mean you're trying?
You've been telling me for months.
Yeah.
You've been telling me since that time.
Yeah, since May of 16, bro. Before then, shit. The fuck you talking about? You need to get a whoop, man. It tells you.
Oh, man.
Like I had like 4 beers last night. I had a terrible recovery. Alcohol wrecks me. I'll send you my recovery tomorrow. Remind me if I don't text you. But
Whoop is gonna be like, who the heck is this guy, man?
Something I thought about while you were talking, and I had to make mention of it, is your dog.
Yeah.
And I think I speak for everyone that follows you on Instagram. Your dog is a crackhead, but is a gorgeous crackhead.
She is a gorgeous crackhead.
How do you run with your dog at all?
There are days. Okay, so what I do sometimes is, at first we used to go on runs, like 2-mile runs. But I'm a normal human being. I ain't gonna run.
Bitch, you ain't normal. Fuck you talking about?
I ain't gonna.
You're
run.
a savage.
I ain't gonna run every freaking day. Okay.
None of that normal talk. Get out of here with that.
I ain't gonna run every day. So what I do now is I'll tend to like, I don't tie my dog, but I'll have my dog on a leash or something that extends and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'll be in the back porch and she just runs around, do whatever she wants until she gets tired. I'll know when she's tired whenever she like tries to cuddle up on my leg. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, she just is like, okay, I'm done running right now.
Like, all right, I'm done running. All right, let's go back inside. I'm like, no, you stay outside. But a lot of times, she's still energetic. So like today it was raining like nonstop. I'm not gonna let her be outside in the rain and then bring her back inside, because then all my floors are gonna get wet. So she does whatever she wants, and yeah, she has the zoomies, man. She will be running.
That dog is a
back and
crackhead.
forth.
I love those videos, man. What's your dog's name?
Sky.
Shout out, Sky.
Shout
I
out
got
to
pissed
Sky.
so bad.
It's
I'll
okay.
be right. I'm about to burst. Okay, so like when I drank that one with the orange juice, like my buzz was like almost gone after
Yeah.
drinking it straight. That's
So-
what I'm saying. It was metabolized so quick.
So I always tell people to mix tequila with orange juice.
Oh,
That's
it
why I
goes down.
brought it. Tasted
easy.
amazing, right?
Yeah, so easy.
And then taking tequila shots with, or drinking tequila with pineapple, tastes amazing.
But like even just drinking it straight, like Terramana tequila is like by itself. Like okay, I like bourbon. You ever had bourbon?
I've had bourbon.
Bourbon is like strong. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
know.
some bourbons, you take a sip and it takes a breath from you. You know what I mean? Like, so like to be able to drink tequila, like easy money,
Yeah.
easy money compared to bourbon. But
I gotta level my game up, I
You
guess.
get like a straight, like bullet bourbon.
yeah, you ever
Like a
had
shot of that.
you ever had bullet bourbon?
No, but I think the closest thing I've had to probably that amount of pain was Four Horsemen.
Never heard of it.
You never heard of Four Horsemen? It's like the four strongest liquors
Juan, we need-
into one shot, and you
What?
take that. What?
Four strongest
All right,
liquors.
you guys are looking at me like I'm the alcoholic now. No, it's like the four whiskeys or bourbons into like one shot, and you just take that.
Oh shit!
Never heard of that.
Oh,
No.
it hurts, man.
this isn't the first podcast where we've drinking on. I think when that one with Cody and Wyatt, we drank it.
Yeah, him on the break. Had to drink that whole bottle of bourbon.
Yeah, we drank an entire bottle of bourbon.
Mm.
Right, you listen to like when I listen back to that podcast, I hear me like slurring my words and shit. Yeah, that was a bad one. Like I realized like I was saying words wrong and I didn't know I was saying them wrong in the moment because of how like.
But
Like,
are
I
you
was
in the
just
wrong
loose.
because they knew you were saying them wrong, but they weren't correcting you?
No, they were correcting me, but I didn't know why they were. Like I like Cody and Wyatt were like, "Oh, did you mean this?" And I was like, "I don't know why you guys are even saying that. Like, what are you talking about?" But so first of all, you're a bad motherfucker, Juan. What's next? What's next?
The next thing is actually the biggest thing. So this is the thing that basically keeps me up at night.
Microphone.
This is the thing that basically keeps me up at night. So I have a lot of people in my class that are very business oriented. They have their own business and LLCs, you name it. So I'm always texting them. I'm always calling them like, hey, what do I do now? So because I'm a veteran, we get the small business loan. So I'll be using that I'm going to try to use that to get my own business.
But you get a small so they guarantee you a loan.
Yes. But also, I'm not trying to say like I don't really need it, but a lot of people when they need businesses, they usually use it to buy tools. Specifically in construction, they use it to buy tools, trucks, you name it. I'm thankful that my family worked hard enough to obtain all that stuff, so we don't really need it. But I'm just going to use it just to have more income, more money to possibly spend if anything goes bad. I have to open up an LLC. I'm in the process of working that right now. In order to have an LLC, I already have a name for the company. I'm not going to say it out yet. but-
Oh damn! Can you tell me off air?
What? Yeah, I'll tell you off.
Okay,
air.
once we stop recording. All right, guys, that's the podcast.
I'll tell you the name of the company. And for the longest time, I wanted to call it like, Rosales Roofing. But I had a cousin of mine who opened my eyes out and told me that a lot of times when Hispanics have a lot of pride whenever they're trying to they want to put their last name into a type of business and stuff. But whenever like business loans or businesses are trying to give a company or business company like amount of money so they can spend, they'll see the name and it just, a lot of times Hispanic companies with specifically last names, they don't really do too well. So I had to change it up a notch. So I took the time, I took the weekend, clear my head out. And once I texted my brother the names and suggestions that I think would work, he gave me an answer on which one it was. And it just sounds so badass, man. So
Damn, come on, you gotta tell everybody.
I can't because
Okay.
I feel like there's somebody out there who wants to do the same thing I'm doing, and I'm not gonna give them that chance. So
Okay, I respect that.
So once that, again, I'm working Red Lobster right now. I'm only using that just part time because I'm bored with my life. I get paid to go to school. I I do roofing when I can. Sundays are usually the days I'm off, but I feel like that's gonna go away sometime soon. Have bartending gigs whenever I'm not doing any of that. But I'm saving up money now so I can do the contractor school at Camp Tech School of Construction in January. That'll start January 7th, I believe.
Right after you get your bachelor's degree from Kaiser?
No, that'll be in 2022.
Okay.
So I'll still be, my goal is to get the contractor's license. Once I obtain that license, I have a few connections with like real estate agents that I'm actually going to be like, hey, I can fix your roof if you're trying to sell this house. And they're like, bet. We shake hands on it. I do their roof. They pay me. I'm trying to figure out how the insurance company can pay, or if like homeowners that are rich enough that can pay me in cash and stuff like that. Once I do that, that's basically how it goes. I do have 3 to 4 roofing crews that are willing to work with me. And that right there, I feel the only bad thing at this point is I feel like I'm not going to have enough people to do all this stuff. So there's going to be a lot of late nights next year. But that's my next goal. So the next goal next year is to at least start the business. Which is crazy because when I moved back, I thought by the age of 30 I was going to graduate and start the business. But that's when I said I was thankful of, kind of leaving my family because it brought me more opportunities. And that 5-year goal just turned into 1. So I feel like I'm moving too quick.
You're such a badass, dude. You're such a badass. Like, one of the thing that I just thought about while you were talking was you came on in May.
Yeah.
It's November. It's been 6 months since you came on the podcast. And you have made so much progress. It doesn't even feel like it.
It really doesn't, man.
It's been like almost 6 months.
Hey, I'll be back in May.
That's so crazy, man. And to hear how much your life has changed, like if anyone takes away anything from this podcast is like you're like the one controllable thing that you have in this world is yourself.
Basically. So like it comes down to this is where my thought process is. Because there was a time when this happened to me before. I had like maybe $1,000 in total, like checking and savings. And again, I always do calculations in my head. And this was probably like one of my lowest moments. I'm like, man, I really got $1,000 only. But that was because I was paying a bunch of bills and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I can't really take the effect of that. I can't take it personal. I spent that money. It wasn't like I had a choice. No, that was all on me. That was my responsibility. And then I had like this bill coming up and I was like, all right, how am I going to fucking do this, man? So eventually I had to take all the money out and I was like, damn, I'm officially broke. But, I can't just wallow out deep like that. No, I got to fucking put some work in. I feel like I'm being lazy. So then from there, I was like, hell no, I'm going to just work sunrise to sunset. And eventually, that all changed, and I'm nowhere near that anymore. So what I'm doing now is the amount of time and amount of money I have now, it's all risk, really. So if I see a chance, I'm going to take it. If it doesn't work out, hey, I gave it all I got. I've got experience from that. So the next time I try it, I'm not starting off from scratch. I'm starting off from experience. So I'll learn from it. So, yeah, it's been 6 months, and it feels like it went by really quick. To me, it feels like it was a long time ago. But when you said it was 6 months, I'm like, God dang, you're right.
Dude, I know, right? It feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a bad motherfucker, man. And I
what, 6 months from now, you're going to be married?
Yeah, whoa, hold up. The crazy thing, man, is like in your 20s to 30s is the most pivotal years of your life. And so many people are set up to where you're going to be fucked for the next 30 years in their 20s. They realize in their 20s, they're like what I said earlier, you're just upside down in debt and you think you have to have all these things to impress all these people. Like, I think that we would still be friends even if I drove a $3,000 car.
Man, we'd still be friends if I had to ride a bike over here, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo, you brought me in and gave me pizza and tequila. Heck yeah,
dude,
I'll ride
like,
my truck ass
I mean, we would be drinking some cheap plastic bottle tequila, but like, and maybe it would be a Totino's pizza, but like, dude, like, I don't know, man. I'm so thankful that I am where I'm at in life now because like when I grew up, like I didn't know what life was gonna be. You know, when I was a kid and I got sick, like, I would just wanted to be normal.
Yeah.
And then now, like, I realized I wasn't built to be normal. I was built to be something different than normal. And, like, now I'm like, fuck it. I am who I am. Let's roll the dice. Let's do a podcast. It's what I love to do. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited to see, like, in 6 months, how much has changed with you and what you're doing.
I'll probably come in here in a suit. Like, it's
Dude,
just
I know, right?
casual, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna like try and text
Fly
you.
in here, helicopter.
I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna text Juan.
It's just my Uber, man.
No, I'm just gonna text Juan one day, and I'm gonna get like an automatic response. He'd be like, "Please reach out to this number right now," which is my agent. You gotta reach out to your manager first, and they're gonna have to schedule you to come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's the dream, though. But, you know, like I always tell, like I'll tell this to my brother and stuff. He's like, yeah, sounds good. But then before we wrap it up, I'm like, you know, like I always say, it's easier said than done. So there's going to be a lot of sacrifices.
Just decide that's what you're gonna do, and then do it.
That's
It's pivotal. You in your 20s, you're deciding what you want to do, and then you're gonna be doing it for the next 30 years. Make sure the decisions you make when you're 20 are decisions you're happy with, not decisions that you think you might be happy with. Do something that, like, in that moment, you're like, this is what I want to do. Listen to people who are in their 50s and their 60s, and listen to the advice that they give you. And look at everything from a holistic perspective. That's what Harvard does with the people that apply at Harvard. They look at the people that apply with a holistic perspective. They don't just look at your GPA. They look at everything you do. Now, when someone tries to give you advice, look at everything that person is and decide if that's just the one subject they can give you advice about, or if you should take all the advice they give you with the weight. Because, like, if someone's working a job they hate for 30, 35 years and they're retired and they go, oh, well, you need a good job that has a retirement. And it's like, maybe I need a job that I don't need to retire from.
Yep. And that's one thing. It's like, yeah, it's good to retire and all, but I see a lot of lonely, like, people that retire, and I'm like,
retirement kills people.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
they stop thinking.
No, I'd rather be working. Shoot.
I'd rather, like, this is one of the thought processes that happened with starting a podcast. I was like, okay, if I retired, let's just say I don't ever have to work for a paycheck again. I can afford to live a modest lifestyle for the rest of my life. What am I going to do? Am I just going to sit down and watch the news all day, like most retired people, and just vote and be mad? No interested in that.
Vote and be mad.
Isn't that what they do? Vote and be mad and go to breakfast before 7. Go to breakfast while everyone else is going to work and drive slow as fuck. That's what old people do. Sorry, old people, if you're listening. So my thought was, like, I would want to work still. But I'd want the work that I do to be meaningful. But why wouldn't I fucking start that now? Why would I wait until I'm in my 50s and 60s to experience life? What if I don't make it to 50 or 60?
And, you know, in a way, there's kind of... So, you know, when people start the gym, like, oh, they want to be fit, New Year's resolution. You see them start in January. How many of them make it to February?
2.
Exact.
2 out of, like, 2 million.
Barely.
Maybe a couple.
Maybe 20%. Maybe 10 or 20%.
It's
how many of those make it to March? And that's how it's
none.
like.
Yeah, basically none. Yeah.
And whenever people say, like, oh, I'm going to start later, or oh, I'm going to start, you know, like, that's literally what it's like. The moment they start, they realize, oh, it's hard, or they see the people around them, and they're like, oh.
Well, they get discouraged.
Exactly. And then what do? They go back to their comfort place. For me, it's like...
Comfort is a slow death.
It really is. So for me, it's like, yeah, I like having that comfort. But at the same time, the military, which I'm very thankful I've joined, has made me develop the sense, be uncomfortably comfortable.
Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Exactly. So, you got to pee again?
I was about to say. You keep talking. I'm just grabbing it because I'm going to show motherfucking people this. Go ahead.
So that's literally what... Like, whenever I'm too comfortable in life, it's like, all right, I'm either...
It's weird.
It's weird. It really is. It's like I'm not... I feel lazy, but I'm not lazy. I'm still doing everything I gotta
comes
do.
from being uncomfortable.
So, like, whenever I do all these major accomplishments in life, I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy. I'm like, oh, that's great. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, what's next? I'm like, I got to do the work. I do the work, and eventually I'll still find enough time to do something. And... what's it called? You just really got to put in the work. And whenever people
But
say,
put in work that's meaningful to you. Don't do some shit that you hate.
yeah, but-
Discipline, like find a discipline, in like a discipline that you love what it is that it accomplishes, but might be difficult in the moment to do. But don't do a job you hate that doesn't give you joy and it feels like you're meaningless in doing.
go to where you're appreciated is probably the biggest thing, because there were times when I wasn't appreciated at a certain job I was doing, and here I am busting my ass for the people that don't appreciate me, and they realize that I am essential. And then whenever I left, they're all like, yo, what do we do? I'm like, well, Rosales had this handled out. I'm like, well, why isn't he here? I'm like, because he left. Why did he leave? You guys are treating him like shit. Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
you guys are a bunch of assholes. He had no reason to stay.
And then when you go to the new company and you're, at first you're like, you don't want to step on other people's toes and stuff like that, but you're just doing what you've been taught to do. And then people are like, oh, yeah, you'll have some people that are like, oh, he's trying too hard. I'm like, no, this is just how I am. And the manager will be like, who the heck is this dude, man? This guy doesn't sleep. I'm like, I only sleep 6 hours a day, man. So.
Juan, you're a bad motherfucker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yep.
Thank you for allowing me. I know this has been many days in the making. I was supposed to do this weeks ago. Or not the podcast, but I was supposed to go over to your house and we were supposed to have tequila and pizza, but I got sick.
Yeah, you got sick.
Dude, I was pissed. I had a podcast the next day too, and I ended up like having to cancel all the things that I was super excited to do because I was worried about getting other people sick.
Well, from this rate, I'll make sure to have 2 bottles.
2 bottles next time, yeah. But me and Colton can put down some calories. But I wanted to hold this up and show you guys. This is what one of the quotes looks like. And this quote means so much to me. You don't have to be great to start, but Juan, what? You do have to start to be great. So be bad at something that you want to be good at and learn to get better at it. That's my thing. And it sounds like that's with a lot of what you're doing.
That's what I am doing.
So you just found things you want to be great at, and you're going to be, you have to be a beginner at it.
Yep.
You got anything else, Juan?
No.
All right, my dude.
See you again in 6 months.
All right, my dude. I love you so much, man.
All right, brother.
Thank you so much. And it was great talking with you.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Hello, everybody. This episode is over, but if you would like to support the podcast, you can head on over to the Instagram account to Somehow We're Adults and use the link in the bio to donate to the PayPal account there. All of the money that is donated will be used to make the podcast better. But either way, I'll keep it going. Make sure to follow the podcast where you listen to it for future episodes of Somehow We're Adults. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all for listening, and I'll see you next time.